the WhatsApp group is so funny because like we have these intellectual moments of us all being like, this is amazing. Like this filmmaker got in touch, and then everyone's like, oh my God, it's Kourtney Kardashian.
Do you think about me at night when the sky is losing a light? I swear my head fills up with memories.
We used to hook up secretly.
Secretly? That's cool. That's actually really hot.
I don't tell anybody in school about this.
Like I talk to anyone at school. I'm never lonely when I'm with you.
Tell me why this has to be this heavy.
You try to act like you're friends, but you know you're not that kind of person.
Just kiss me.
I feel like I'm walking around trying on 100 different versions of myself.
Then how do you know what you want?
Most of the time I don't have a clue.
You must know what you feel.
Do your friends know about us?
No.
I feel like everything's changed.
You don't want to touch me, but you get to dictate who else does.
They don't really think that's what's going on here.
What is it then?
I did used to think that I could read your mind at times. I don't know, maybe that's normal.
It's not.
India, hello. It's lovely to talk to you today. Thanks for joining us.
You, Eoghan, a pleasure.
Firstly, how are you? Like you're obviously in lockdown. Are you losing the will to live yet? Or you're all good? You're coping?
I think I'm coping pretty well. Yeah, I'm kind of now living vicariously through the screens and the online interactions, both from the show and my friends and family. But yeah, I'm kind of doing okay. There's something nice about everyone slowing down in pace and stuff. So yeah, it's all right. Not too bad.
Definitely. I'd say those screens, your phone, like the notifications on your phone are probably through the roof at the minute. Or do you have like alerts for like, I don't know, I'll just set up an alert for normal people and see what happens. And then it's just like a deluge of stuff from all over the world. How has it been kind of?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just so lovely. It's like, in a way, it kind of feels like every day is your birthday in terms of like, you know, the way you get loads of messages on your birthday and you're like, that lovely person I haven't spoken to in ages. But that kind of happens every day because people are watching it at different paces, and it's always a lovely surprise to get messages from people. So yeah, it's been lovely. But I'm not very savvy, as I was telling you, with tech and social media. So it's been like a really compressed learning curve in terms of using all.
I like your tangled earphones. I mean, inevitably that's going to become like Conall's chain or something. That'll be like a fashion statement, essentially. Yeah, everyone will do
it's
that.
Like people will be like, that's so retro. I don't own earpods. I wouldn't do them. So
wouldn't dream of it.
I'm just going to pretend it's a choice. It's vintage.
In terms of you and your character, because obviously you appear like, you know, not immediately at the start, but then you kind of have this presence throughout as well. Can you just tell us a wee bit of background about your character Peggy and why you were like, okay, I'm going in for that part and I'm perfect for this part? Because so what was it about her that you loved?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the book, like most people that read it, and I just find that like across the board, the way that Sally writes characters is so detailed. So like it's very much Conall and Marianne's story, but even all of the characters that colour their world just seem to have so much kind of detail and nuance to them. So there was just so many characters that I thought were really interesting. And then in terms of Peggy, when I even read the book, kind of stood out to me because I was like, oh, she's fascinating because she's quite manipulative and I think has like a certain kind of darkness, but is ultimately quite buoyant and playful. So yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting kind of dichotomy, I guess. And yeah, and just even her relationship with Marianne, it's an interesting one, that thing of like coming into college and meeting a whole new set of people and everybody's kind of playing around with who they want to be or where their new niche is. And yeah, I think ultimately all of Sally's characters, there's a whole lot of insecurity under the surface, and it's kind of what drives their decisions, be them good or bad ones. And so yeah, with Peggy, there's a lot of her that I just think is very fun and yeah.
Yeah, what's the secret to playing somebody like that? As you said, she does have that mix of being, oh, you're conniving away here essentially, but then also like, you know, really good fun as well.
I know, it's a really funny thing because like ultimately, I think in life we're kind of drawn to characters that are colorful, whether it's like a positive thing or potentially harmful. But yeah, I think I don't know. For me, the interesting thing when I watch anything or when I read anything, and something that obviously again Sally and Alice Birch and Marco Rowe, who wrote the scripts, do so well, is no character is ever just pure bad or pure good. And for me, like especially with characters that can potentially go too far into the like nasty side, I never like if I can't see a human in there and kind of to some extent, you know, be curious about why they're wired that way, and then it's less interesting. But with this story and with these scripts, and even off the page, like she's just so. I just found her really fun in terms of where the kind of line was between playful and ultimately manipulative um or kind of conniving, as you say. So yeah, I guess I think it's just about being playful and kind of looking at them as a human as opposed to this kind of like evil presence.
I was wondering, I'm not sure if you knew Daisy and Paul before filming Normal People, but what was it like kind of seeing the two of them together? I'm not sure whether it was a table read or part of the audition process, but that first moment that you saw the two of those two characters coming together.
Yeah, I didn't know Daisy at all. I only met her on set actually for the first time, and Paul I knew only very like a small bit from. We had lots of mutual friends in Dublin, and yeah. So my first day on set was actually with Elliot Salt, who plays Joanna, and Daisy, and yeah, Daisy is obviously just incredibly talented, but she has such a warmth to her, and the both of them actually. Anytime I was on set with both of them, they just like beyond their characters as people, they were just so inclusive of everyone. And I think like between Element and Lenny and the way they kind of set up the team, everybody was just really close and got on really well. And then definitely Paul and Daisy being at the helm was just like such a joy and a privilege for everyone because they're just both such lovely people, and they were really, yeah, they just made it so easy and so inclusive. Like no matter how long or short you were in for, they just made it like such a joy and made you feel so involved. So and yeah, and they are obviously such pals. So yeah, it was just infectious, like the joy on set.
Have you been talking to Paul since, like, kind of the world has obviously fallen in love with the show and with both of them, but there's something about the reaction to Paul. I think as Irish people as well, we're just like, what's going on here? This is
I
actually
know.
insane. Like being the
Yeah,
most searched person on the internet
I
last
know.
week is incredible.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I like I've chatted to him lots. I'm in touch with like most of them, like every second day or every day, and yeah, and they're like Daisy and Paul are just the most down to earth, grounded people. So both of them are just like, this is crazy, and yeah, it's just so nice hearing their reactions. But um, I mean, they're completely, they're finding it crazy, but they're also absolute naturals. I love watching, like even the James Corden, their chemistry test is one of the most iconic things I've seen on TV in ages. It's just brilliant. So yeah, it's like it's quite surreal, but there's something very natural to it because they're both just so themselves and so able to handle it all.
Yeah, you mentioned about being in touch with some of the others. Fionn and Des, when we were talking to them, they said everybody's together. There's one big kind of WhatsApp group as well, and people keep
Yes.
updating it with like, did you see the Kardashians love it? Did you see Andrew Lloyd Webber got in touch with Paul? And different kind of moments that where like these incredibly famous celebrities are kind of
Yeah.
discovering the show. Was there anything in particular for you? Or do you remember that kind of turning point when you realized, okay, well, this isn't just another kind of Irish TV series. There's something special going on here.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, like I before it even aired, I was quite aware of how special it was because all of the people involved, like everyone at Element, like to date, I don't think they've really done any wrong. Every single project they do is just magic. And then having like the likes of Lenny and Hetty directing something for TV, it's that thing where like television has just become like a whole different beast lately in that it's so well produced. There's so many filmmakers like choosing to move into TV. So even before it aired, I was pretty aware that it was going to be enormous. But yeah, but then in terms of the WhatsApp group is so funny because like we have these intellectual moments of us all being like, this is amazing, like this filmmaker got in touch, and then everyone's like, oh my god, Kourtney Kardashian. So that's been really funny. I mean, I love Richard E. Grant, so all of the stuff with him, I was like really buzzing about. And then, yeah, there's been just so many moments that have been crazy.
Yeah, in terms of the show itself, you mentioned Hetty there, and I know for Irish viewers, one of the most kind of, I think, powerful moments of the entire series is still to come on TV, and it's Paul's counselling scene when it's kind of it's a very intense kind of focus scene on him. But is there like that was really that really stood out for me in particular? But is there any particular moment or scene from any of the characters or any of the episodes for you that you were just like, oh, that's incredibly special there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a lot. I think yeah, there's so many. I mean, watching the episodes, like I actually watched some of the first episodes with Paul, and I was embarrassing because I was just bawling, crying at so many episodes, and I was like, "Don't look at me, I'm fine." But yeah, I had so many. I mean, I think the first time that both of them with I can't remember which episode it is, but the scene where Conall and Marianne, you know, are together for the first time is just so beautiful, because I think it's just so intimate, and I think everyone involved in ETA and everyone have done such a beautiful job. I know it's getting loads of acclaim, but it's just so endearing to see something so awkward and natural about, you know, a first time love scene. So I think that's beautiful. And then yeah, and then all the way to the last. I mean, I weep every single time I watch the last scene, every single time. And, yeah, and then I have my latest kind of thing is every time Lorraine and Conall have scenes together, I cry, even if it's a general scene in the kitchen. So I'm a mess.
Just an emotional mess from start to finish. Yeah. You mentioned the ending there. What's your take on the ending? I can kind of get it from what you were saying there as well, but because obviously people who have watched it through, it seems to be it's a talking point anyway, because I loved it personally.
Did you?
I think it's a lovely way to kind of finish it. And but what's your take? Because some people are like, "What's going on?" Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think a lot of people kind of are, you know, screaming at the TV, being like, just stay together. But for me, I love it because the whole way through the story, it's so natural and it's so true to life. And, you know, I think if it was wrapped up in a really kind of easy sort of bow, it wouldn't have the same impact. And for me, I think there's something so beautiful about the fact that it's like, it kind of seems like this moment where they acknowledge that they love each other so much, and that love doesn't have to mean possession. And it's that thing of, I just think it's so beautiful the way they want one another to explore what they need to explore. And it doesn't mean they won't come back together, but even if they don't, it's like that line that Daisy Marianne has where she says, you go and I'll stay and we'll be okay. Because I think that's not acknowledged enough in storytelling and film and TV, that you're okay if the relationship doesn't, you know, work out. It's I just think it's way more impactful and way more hopeful, really. So I love it.
Yeah, I was going to break down there for a moment again, just when you were reenacting that very particular moment at the end. From chatting to Lenny, obviously everyone's dying to know, oh, will there be a second series? But do you think a second series is something that you might want, you know, in terms of like for your character as well? And Lenny had an interesting point where he was talking about maybe 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. But what's your kind of take on that? Is that something you'd be
that's interesting. In? Yeah, that's interesting to think of it in a few years. I mean, I think in terms of my particular character, I think she's maybe somebody who's very specific to a time in your life, and to a group of people when you're exploring who your tribe are. So, but in terms of the overall story, I mean, I'm obviously very invested in those two characters. So, like Conall and Marianne, but yeah, I don't know. I think a few years is an interesting idea, isn't it? That it would be like some time passed, and how has that affected them individually and as a unit. So yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. In terms of the reaction to the different characters, Des is kind of like, you know, he's delighted with the reaction that Niall is now considered the soundest person in all of Ireland.
Yeah.
And then
Fionn is not getting that reaction.
Fionn was listing back some of the things that people have written, worse than Joffrey in Game of Thrones, which is quite a
Oh, I know, and it's so
quite a
funny because
statement.
Fiona O'Shea and Jack Leeson are two of the kindest people on the planet. So it's so ironic that they play these characters that are so disliked on TV.
Yeah. Oh, what has there been any kind of for you sitting back and with the entire normal people kind of whirlwind going on? Is there anything that you've seen in terms of the reaction to Peggy herself? Because obviously you're keeping a special eye out maybe for that in the midst of it all.
And yeah, you know what? I mean, I actually I don't have Twitter, so I think that's a place where there's a lot of kind of commentary. So
A lot.
yeah, so I'm actually slightly removed from it because unless it's shared in said WhatsApp group, I have no clue really, other than articles or maybe posts. Um, but yeah, I'm actually quite surprised by the amount of kind of positivity and love for Peggy. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of are like, oh, we all had one of those in our group, or we know somebody like that, and I certainly know that. Like, I just knew a lot of people like that growing up, and I grew up in South Dublin, and it's a very very particular culture, um, and and can be quite stressful. So so I just think it's cool to play a character that a lot of people recognize, and
Yeah. You've probably
yeah,
met a few Peggies in your time, have you?
100%, yes, definitely.
But you're not revealing any of their real names. No, we'll just call them
Definitely
Peggies.
not. No.
And what about yourself? I don't know how it works now because people are still trying to figure out how we're going to film TV, how we're going to film movies,
Totally,
and
yeah.
what way that's going to go. But have any kind of offers or things come in, or I'm sure there's going to be some options after starring in like one of the biggest global phenomenons of 2020. What's next for yourself?
And yeah, as you say, it's so kind of precarious and unpredictable in terms of stuff. So I unfortunately have no information at all because in terms of dates and things, nothing is really locked down as I think a lot of people are having. So unfortunately I'm very uninterested in what I can discuss about what's up next.
You're not in the new
But yeah,
Star Wars or anything.
I'm not in the new Star Wars. I can confirm that.
Okay, confirm. Okay, gotcha. No, listen, that's brilliant. Really appreciate you taking the time out to talk about the show, and massive
Oh, thank
congratulations
you so much, Owen. It was a
again on the
pleasure
whole
talking
thing.
to you all.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is just it's mental. It's absolutely
It's crazy,
bonkers,
isn't it?
but it's so brilliant as well.
Yeah, it's lovely to see something Irish getting kind of global acclaim. It's fun, like, it's kind of a
Yeah,
success I
and
think we can share with everyone. It's fun.
definitely for once we don't have to look for a connection to go, that's Irish, we're taking that one as
Yeah,
well. It's actually
exactly.
quite an obvious connection.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but
so true.
it's a lovely discovery. And again, we were saying this with Lenny of discovery of young Irish talent like yourself, like Paul and Fiona. I know Fiona's a couple of movies under his belt and stuff as well. But there's this kind of mass awakening of Irish talent that the whole world is kind of discovering at the one time, which is super.
It's amazing, yeah, because we have so many people in film, like across the board, from like writing to Susie Lavelle is Irish, but she's been working away. Who and Kate McCullough, two female DOPs who shot it, have both been working away and doing incredible stuff. And there's just so many people, like Irish filmmakers, writers, and everything across the board. So it's really fun to kind of get to celebrate that at home.
Yeah. What's the first thing you're going to do whenever you're allowed to see the rest of the normal people cast again? You can all actually meet up.
If we're allowed, just hug them all. I can't wait to just just hang out, just see people not through screens. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, that's going to be some party with the Kardashians are going to be there and Richard E. Grant, just everybody, one
Yes,
big massive party.
exactly. James Corden, Richard E. Grant, everyone, all our pals.
No, but again, thank you very much, and stay safe during the rest of
You
lockdown.
too.
And we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you in person afterwards, hopefully at
Yeah,
some point.
absolutely. Lovely to Zoom meet
Okay.
you all.
Yeah.
Stay
Cheers,
safe.
India. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. Bye-bye.
love you.
I love you too.